Well, everyone was celebrating on Friday night. Garen, why don't you roll us into Saturday?
Saturday, the one hiccup from a South African point of view this weekend was the Lions up against the Force in Perth. We both thought that there might be a chance that the Lions could upset the Force, who were heading back to Australia from South Africa. The Lions are heading back to South Africa now after their 4-match tour, which they unfortunately lost all 4 games.
Yeah.
That means 17 out of 20 defeats for South African teams in Australasia, which is not great, obviously. But the Lions, hats off to them. They really performed well. I thought, the scoreline flattered, I think, the Force at the end. They won by 10 points, but they did score a converted try in the dying seconds of the match. There was only 3 points in it heading into those last few minutes. A little bit of a controversial yellow card early in the match for the Lions. Their prop was shown a yellow card for a no arms tackle. The commentators even said a little bit harsh there. And in that 10-minute period that he was off the field, the Force scored 12 points, and they were behind. They went into the lead just before halftime, and the Lions didn't really ever recover from that. So, a far better performance by the Johannesburg-based side. I think they made 13 changes to their entire squad for that match. They haven't got a lot of depth, but they gave their youngsters a run. So that'll obviously benefit them going forward in the remaining matches. But not the worst performance by the Lions on tour, so hats off to them. They've got a massive match against the Bulls coming up this weekend, which we'll talk about later in the week. So hopefully they're up for that match back in Johannesburg.
All right, Rob, what was your take on the game?
Yeah, well, the Lions, unfortunately, just slipping down that table after a really promising start. When they were after the first few weeks of the competition, they were right up in the playoff zone. Not that you can read too much into it early on in the season, but I think pretty much the predictable thing has happened, that a shoestring squad like theirs has been ravaged by injuries, and when you aren't able to bring in quality and experienced players from underneath, often you're just bringing in one rookie for another. It makes it very difficult for them to eke out wins. The one thing you can say is that they've never been absolutely walloped, have they, Garen? I mean, the Lions tend to be competitive for 60, 65 minutes of a match. It's just not being able to they haven't got quite the either the tactical nous or the experience and the BMT perhaps to actually get over the line in key matches. I thought the Force were quite flat in the game. They showed all the signs of a team that had just flown back from South Africa. Looked as though they just wanted to bank the win. And it was a little frustrating that they managed to get the bonus point in the end, because that was a little bit of a nuisance to the challenging South African sides, the Bulls and the Sharks, that the Force got the full house in the end. Probably just about deserved, and the Lions will come back and still be probably feeling that they've got a chance of upsetting the Bulls at Ellis Park, but I wouldn't put too much money on it.